Alright, good morning everybody. It is Tuesday, April 21st, 2026. As you can see, I am bundled up for winter because it's cold this morning. It was 25 degrees start when I got up this morning at the house. 19 down here when I looked at one of the personal weather stations. So I don't even think it's 30 degrees yet. I was out there pre-trip in the truck. My hands got cold. So summer last week, winter to start this week. But anyway, we've got Hazelton water today and then the van shuttle. So one out of Tamaqua, two out of Hazelton, and then the van shuttle down to Fogelsville and back. Gonna be a little interesting. I think they started work on that bumpy hill going up from Tamaqua to McAdoo there on 309 before we get on 81. So we'll have to see what they did with lane restrictions, what's going on there. And then there's bridge repair going on up there in Hazelton right before where we get off. So we may have to detour and take a different route to get back to the plant. I don't know. It's going to be a funky, interesting day. So we'll keep you informed and show you what's going on along the way. So making our way out to 309 here, and looks can be really deceiving. I told you this morning how cold it was. Yesterday was only 45, and at one point we even had a couple of snow flurries. I can tell by the splats on my windshield. This morning, like I said, was down to 25 up at my house and like 19 down this way in lower rural elevations. So there's plenty cold this morning, plenty winter-like, but it looks nice. I mean, the relatively high late April sun, not a cloud in the sky, makes it look like it's a nice warm and inviting day, but at the moment it is not. It's supposed to warm up later. I guess it's gonna get up close to 50, but that's a far cry from the 85 to 90 we had most of last week. So, and that, seeing as how warm we were last week, makes this feel that much colder. If this were January, this would probably be like near normal and it wouldn't be so bad to take. But after getting adjusted to summer and wearing shorts last week, back to wearing long johns today, it's cold. And one other thing I want you to note here is you see how green some of the stuff is down here. Not everything yet, but a lot is green. A lot of the maples have leafed out. A lot of the lower shrubs have leafed out. Stuff has flowers on it. So things got green down here in the lower lands. It'll be even greener later on when we get down the Lehigh Valley with the van. But when we get up to Hazelton, unless what I've known in the past to be true, it should still pretty much be winter looking up there despite the warm temperatures last week, because it just is different. It doesn't green up there as fast as it greens up down here. So we will see. But heading up to Tamaqua, we'll get that first one, and then we'll see what we have to deal with on the Mile Hill, or the bumpy hill as it were, and see if they started milling stuff down or started doing some work on it, if we've got lane restrictions already. And that's going to last until November, so we got a whole summer's worth of lane restrictions and traffic issues going up that hill. But once it's done, it's going to be worth it. And as I've shown you how bad it was, it needed to be done. So the inconvenience that's going to be caused this summer is going to be worth it when the end result occurs. All right, so we're here, we're loading. Nobody was on the pad when we got here, so we were able to pull right on and start loading. And as is fitting, the lift axle is dropping now that we got some weight in the trailer, so that's the hissing sound that you hear. I don't know if anybody's going to come before we're done. This one doesn't take long to load, so chances are nobody's going to show up while we're here loading. But a couple things I want to say quick. Number one, This is a not so good feeling day for me. I have for the past 2 months, as I think I mentioned before, haven't been feeling all that well, and today's one of those days where I'm not really feeling that well. Not tired, I get plenty of sleep. I get 8 hours of sleep a night, but just body fatigue and abdominal discomfort and things like that. So had some imaging work done on Friday morning. I haven't heard anything yet back from that. Usually they'll call you and tell you what they found, but they didn't. So they must be waiting till they see me in person on Thursday to tell me what's going on, if anything is going on. So, and the other thing I got here, and one of the slips, the last 3 digits were the 666s, and there's no way I'm going to run a load up there with a slip like that. So we tore that puppy up and went to 667. So I don't know. I'm a Christian man and I don't like that number, so we weren't going to use it. Whether it makes a difference or not, I don't know, but I just don't like that number, and anytime it comes up, I will try to change it or avoid it if at all possible. It may sound weird, but I do not like the 666s one bit. It's an evil number, and I avoid it as much as possible. But anyway, we're loading. Like I said, the sun's out. It looks like a beautiful day, but it should be chilly right now. So hopefully she warms up. Said it might get up into the low 50s today, so hopefully it'll feel better later. But we're loading, and we'll show you some of the stuff along the way, especially that construction going up the mountain. All right, loaded and away we go. Let's make sure no traffic is coming. No traffic is coming. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with me these past couple months, but boy, oh boy, I've been really feeling under the weather. Like I said, I'm not tired. I get plenty of sleep. Go to bed about 9 o'clock, get up about 5:30, 6 o'clock. So I'm getting a good 8, sometimes almost 9 hours of sleep. But my body is so fatigued. I feel like I weigh 3 times my weight. The only thing I want to do is sit in a lazy boy. It takes everything I got to do the household chores that I need to do anymore. You know, and it's not like I'm not alert either. I mean, mentally I'm pretty much alert, but just physically, body aches, my back hurts, leg hurts. I go from the basement to the upstairs, I get out of breath. Like I said, the abdominal discomfort, things like that. So I don't know. We ran all kind of blood work. Red blood counts have been down. My thyroid levels are elevated. I don't know how much this has to do with the thyroid, but in my mind, I think there's more than just thyroid at play here. So we did an abdominal CAT scan Friday morning. Like I said, usually the radiologist looks at it, and then it ends up on your computer page. The hospital has what they call a My Chart, and they'll show you your test results even before you even go to the doctor. Sometimes the same day, if not the same day, then the following day. And I did not get my test results back from this imaging that I had done on Friday. Nothing in My Chart, nothing, no phone calls from the doctor's office, anything like that. So I don't know what that means. Sounds to me like maybe whatever is going on in there, they want to actually talk to me about in person. So they're not letting me know ahead of time for some reason. But anyway, we're making our way back out to 309. You know, we got to go through Tamaqua and then up through hometown, and then we'll climb that mile hill. We're definitely going to turn the camera on up there and see whether they got started, if there's already a lane closure. I saw that Google Maps had it yellow, so it seems like there's a bit of a slowdown there. So maybe they already got a lane restriction in place. Maybe they started milling some of that blacktop off. So we'll see. The project's supposed to go till November, like I said, so we got a whole summer and fall of dealing with some traffic issues up that way. So. But anyway, got the light red. No, good. Light turned green. Okay. Like stepping on the old rubber mats at the supermarket that opened up the door. I'm showing my age now. Everything's done with infrared stuff, but it used to be a time when there was a rubber mat in front of the grocery store door and you stepped on that rubber mat and the door opened up for you. So, but anyway, making our way up north. We'll talk to you along the way, and then we'll talk to you while we're unloading this one. All right, so yeah, they do have lane closure already, and as I figured, they would start with the left lane first. Probably gonna work on that left lane in both directions, plus probably rebuild that concrete median like you see here, going up the rest of the way up the hill. But this is going to take a lot of four-wheelers off, and the heavy trucks get on this hill like I'm going to right now, because they aren't going to be able to pass anymore. Used to have a passing lane all the way up this hill, so when I slowed down to 25, 24 miles an hour, pardon me, cars could get around me, but they're not going to be able to as they go through this project. See, they're already milling down that left lane. Now you got to watch here. They didn't do any patchwork on this shoulder. Some rough spots on this shoulder, but they didn't patch it. I think they would have patched the shoulder a little bit before they started working on that left lane, but it didn't appear that they did so. So now, do they have the lane closed all the way up the hill or only part of the way up the hill? That is the question. See, there is an old center median there. It's just nowhere near the height it's supposed to be because of the layers of blacktop that are on here. So, and it's deteriorated, buried by stones, busted apart, everything else. Sewers are broken out. There's supposed to be sewers in there to catch the rainwater. So a lot of work needs to be done on this road. So remember, the past couple months I would mention how rough this road was and that it needed to be done. Well, now it's being done, and it's going to be an inconvenience, but it's an inconvenience that's well worth it, because when it's finished, it's going to be nice and smooth. So, looks like all the action is down there right now, so not much more to show you. Nobody, well, there's one four-wheeler coming now. I guess I ought to put the four-ways on. There's one four-wheeler coming behind me now, but as you can see, they can't pass us, and I'm down to 25 miles an hour. So they just got to suck it up and ride it out behind us. Oh, it looks like they did do a little bit of shoulder work here. I see some new blacktop there, so. Alright. I guess we'll just talk to you up at the plant while we're unloading. Alright, so we're here. We're unloading this first one. Our other guy running up here today, too, he was on the other side. He was just finishing up when I got here, so he left. He'll go up to Hazelton and load another one up. And we may or may not catch him up there. I don't know. Takes about 25 minutes to unload here. It takes about 15 minutes or so to load up there. Travel time. If I do catch him, he's going to be just about done. So, and not as cold up here as I thought it was going to be, unless the wind didn't kick in yet, because it's always windy up here, and it doesn't feel all that windy just yet. So, well, the late April sun is warm, so I can feel the warm sun. It's still probably only maybe about 35, 37 degrees, but it doesn't feel all that bad because it's not super windy and the sun's warm. But we're unloading this first one. I don't know how much we're going to show you, whether we're going to show you some of the second one or some of the third one. But of course, then we'll show you getting the van and running down to Fogelsville and all that stuff. So we'll talk to you a little bit later on. All right, well, this is turning into a weird day. First with that evil ticket number on that first load that we scrapped, and then the construction that we're going to deal with. And now sitting right behind me is one of the water trucks from another company, and he's going to be going back to the same well that I'm going to. We were both turning off a 924 on the 81 at the same time. I got the left turn arrow, and he was coming from the other direction. And of course his ramp has a yield, so the traffic that was in front of me kept going, and I had traffic behind me, so I couldn't just stop and let it go ahead of me. So now I'm ahead of him. You might see him here when I make the turn. But he's gonna follow me, and more construction, jeez. And he's gonna follow me all the way back there, so I'm not gonna be able to talk to you back there. Alright, this is really weird. This traffic light is not working. We got a flag man up there. So this is going to be interesting how long it takes to get through this. But what I was starting to say is we won't be able to talk to you back there because he's going to be hot on my heels going in there. So I'll talk to you here a little bit, and then we'll talk to you when we're leaving to head back over to the plant. Going in here for the second load. But what a mess today. There's construction everywhere. Of course, the construction on the big hill, which is I know about and is going to go on for the next 6 months. But all this other stuff, the bridge repairs and guardrail work on 81, and now whatever they're doing here, rewiring this traffic light or whatever. So it's going to be a stupid, interesting day, I guess. All right, so we're finally loaded. And we're gonna get out of here, but what a fiasco. I told you guys that there was a truck behind me, so I wanted to make it quick, not hold the guy up. When I got backed on, I couldn't hook the hose up. What happens is when guys disconnect this hose, instead of setting it down gently to drain it, and this is everywhere, not just here, they just drop them. And they're only aluminum, so over time dropping them egg shapes them, and then you have trouble getting them on the truck. And if you can finally get them on the truck, then you really have trouble getting it back off the truck. So rather than hold him up, I decided to get off the pad and let him go ahead of me. Well, and he couldn't get it on his truck either, so then what we did was we flipped the hose around and put the bad end on the building and put the better end out on the truck. It's not much better, but it's a little better. I still struggled getting it unhooked, but we're unhooked and we're leaving. But this day is fast turning into a problem. Not a disaster yet, but a problem. With the construction everywhere, and now the hose issues, and me not feeling 100%, it's fast turning into a frustrating day. So I'm going to hopefully try to clear my mind and feel a little bit better. Also, I had microphone issues. I wanted to show you guys him behind me when we were getting off the freeway, and then when we got off the freeway, there was another construction zone where they didn't have the traffic light on. I guess they were wiring it up or doing, I don't know what had happened, but the traffic light wasn't working, so they were directing traffic. So as soon as you got off the freeway onto the bridge that crossed 81, that was stopped and coned off, and there was no turning lane. You had to rely on the flaggers to let you turn. So interesting, but also starting to get frustrating. So I kind of lost that segment because I don't know what kind of audio I'm going to have for it. Audio is a big part of what I do with these videos, and if the audio is crappy like it used to be before I bought external microphones, then I'm not going to use the clip. I did a secondary one, so whatever one you see is the one I decided to use coming back here to get this load. But boy, oh boy, oh boy, what a frustrating time there for a while. So hopefully it gets better as the day goes on, and it won't be a grumpy video. It'll be more of a happy video, or a decent video as best as can be, because like I said, I'm not feeling the greatest today either, so I don't know. But anyway, we're making our way back out the road and then go down to the plant, unload this one, and we got to come back here for one more before we swap the tank out for the van. So all right, so I just turned these cameras on because both lights were red, nobody was moving, and I figured that there's probably a train coming, and there we go. This day is just full of it. Everything and anything. Construction, destruction, trains, camera malfunctions, microphone malfunctions, hose malfunctions. And it all started with the Devil's Load ticket that I scrapped. I wonder if that has anything to do with it. Would it have been worse if I would have used the ticket? Or did I invoke bad karma by scrapping it and moving on to the next one? Because this day is turning into quite an adventure, and we're only 2.5 hours into it. Now, who's gonna go green? Probably the side street here. Let's see. Nope, we did. Alright. Alright, so we're here unloading the second one. I don't think we're going to be in that guy's way because he didn't even get back to the well before I was done. So he's probably loading up there as we speak. So we should be out of here before he gets here, hopefully. And I mean, there are 2 unloading stations here, so I won't hold them up. It's just where I might hold them up is on the other end loading, but I didn't on the last load, so we should be in pretty good shape. But we're unloading here, and we got to go up there and get one more and bring it back, unload it, and then grab the van. All right, so we're here loading up this. This will be the 3rd load going to the plant, 2nd one out of this particular well. If you look over my shoulder, you can see how the grass is still brown up here and all the trees are bare. Like I said, down the Lehigh Valley and even up toward Tamaqua, things have greened up pretty nicely. We're not fully summer green, but we're getting there. We're about 50% green. Grass is green. I cut my grass about 4 times already. Now, a lot of people have been mowing grass, but up here is a different story. Put some elevation into it, and as you can see, it stays winter, at least winter looking, a lot longer up here than it does down below. That's what I was telling you guys about, so I figured I'd try to show you a little bit. But we are loading this one up, and when we get over there, we'll unload it, drop it, and go look for the van and head southbound empty and get that load, bring her back up here. All right, we're loaded. And that other guy just pulled up as we were finishing up. You might be able to see him back there once we start making the turn. So we didn't hold him up either. Oh, we're getting out of here. Now he can do his thing. Like I showed you, and I think I showed you coming out, but I didn't talk about it. You can see how very little is green up here. It's still pretty much dead winter dead. A couple trees have started to pop, but for the most part, everything is still dead winter dead up here. You'll see the change. Well, you did already because we were down in the lower lands, but especially once we get to Allentown, how green everything is down there. So, all right, we'll talk to you, I guess, over at the plant. I don't know if we're going to talk to you again while we unload or whether we'll talk to you once we get the van. All right, so our last tanker load is delivered. We dropped that right where we unloaded it, as we always do, and now we're down here. We found our empty, hooked up to it. We already pre-tripped it, opened the doors, made sure she was empty. We're all good to go. We're just gonna take a 5-minute break here and then we're gonna roll. I'm gonna take a new way out of here. I don't know if I'm gonna show you the entire way out, but one of our drivers told me that if 81 is jammed up, instead of making the left on the 924, we can shoot straight across, go up to a T intersection, make a left, run that out, and come to a 4-way stop sign, cross that road, go out, hook a right and then left. You come out to a traffic light, make another right, and you make a left. You're on 424 and you miss the 81 backup, because right now with those bridges being worked on, northbound and southbound are backed up. So we're gonna try it and see how it works. All right, now this guy, back on the property, he was stopped right in the middle of a turn, so I had to wait for him to go, and now he's hogging up both lanes here. I don't know if I'm going to make it across this intersection, but this is where we're going to go straight instead of making left. And we did manage to keep the green barely. But usually we make the left and go out 924 and get on the interstate up there. But one driver said about coming down this way, cross over 924, go up here past Hershey, and come to a T, make a left and ride that road all the way out, like I told you in the last segment. And there's a four-way stop. Go through the four-way stop, and then go a little bit further, and then you come to a traffic light, you make a right, then you come to another traffic light, make a left, and they'll take you right out 424, and it'll put us out south of that construction. So here's the T intersection. Like I said, I don't know if I'm going to show you this whole thing or not, but because it's a few miles, I believe. Hope the road's in decent shape, which it looks like, at least to the left. To the right, looks pretty nasty. Looks like the moon. There's all kind of craters and potholes if I would have made a right-hand turn, but this way looks pretty good. So we need to roll out this way, and we'll come up to a four-way stop. I've never been on this road. Like I said, this is new to me. And the driver told me about it. I looked at it on Google Maps. Looks like it makes sense. So we're gonna try it. These tracks are probably bumpy. They weren't as bad as I thought. All right, up ahead here looks like a four-way stop sign. Oh, right here's the old International Paper Plant. Okay. So now we'll cross this one. We won't make the right, we'll cross it. We'll just go straight. And let the four-wheeler go. Now I could have made a right, went up one more street and made a left, and that road would have eventually put me right onto 424, but we can do it this way too. Looks like some more railroad tracks here. Looks like two sets of railroad tracks. And these look like they're bumpy. Somewhat. Maybe I will show you almost all the way out. Okay, so that's where the steel coils come out of that we see on flatbeds every now and again. Must be a little Titan terminal there. I see Titan tractors parked there. I know this road now. I know it. I know exactly what it is, because this used to be, this building here used to be, I think, M&M Mars. And I think Werner had a big dedicated account out of there, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, I know where I'm at now. And this is what he meant by a right and then a left, and then you come to the traffic light. Okay, I see how it works. Just hope we don't get stuck by a train up there. I see a bunch of trains and I see one moving. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. Okay, here's the traffic light. We make a right here. I don't know what that guy's waiting for. We just made it. No, we're probably going to get stuck at this one here. This is a double light because there's railroad tracks here. Oh, there's the train. Oh boy, we ain't saving no time now. Oh, this day, I'm telling you. Oh man, I wonder how long it is. I doubt the light turns green. The gates are probably going to go down here any minute, unless he's just switching cars. Oh, What do we got here? What do we got? Well, now the train stopped. All right. So light turned green. Train is switching the yard back there. So, yeah, this will take us out to 81 now. See, now we're on 424. We may have to come in this way because I believe the other side is all jammed up too. And so, like I said, this brings us right out on the 81 South right here. And we are beyond the construction zone, so the traffic will be moving normally. But boy, oh boy, anything and anything that can kind of slow me down today, from trains twice to equipment malfunctions, construction, you name it. What a day so far. And like I said, just to add insult to injury to a day where I'm not actually feeling my best. Ay. But anyway, we're on the freeway, and then we go down 309 to Tamaqua, 100 down to Fogelsville, and so forth and so on. All right, so we're down here on the Lehigh Valley side of the Blue Mountain, rolling 309 into New Tripoli. And as I was telling you guys, look how green everything is down here. Not everything is totally green yet. Some of the oaks are lagging a little bit, but they always do. They're usually the last ones to green up. But there's a lot more green down here than there is up here in Hazleton. Hardly any up there. Most of the maples down here shot right past the flower stage and right into full leaf out. And a lot of other trees, the flowering dogwoods and magnolias and things like that, they're in their blooms. And it doesn't appear like the freeze this morning really hurt them too much. They don't look off color, all the stuff that I've seen so far that is a flowering tree. But yeah, there's quite a bit of green down here. Like I said, most of these people have already cut their grass at least once, most of them. Golf course is open, green, and all nice. So the temperature's a little warmer. Truck says it's 53 down here. It was only like 48 up there, so always 5 to 10 degrees warmer down here in the valley than it is up in Hazleton. Probably by the time we get down to the plant, it might be in the upper 50s. We're still out here in the rural farmland of northern Lehigh County, so while it is much warmer than Hazleton, it's still a bit cooler than the metropolitan area itself down below. Yeah, you can see it as you're driving along here. Some areas do have a full-on summertime look if you go through a bunch of maple trees. All right, so the empties dropped. I took a ride down here to where we unload the water so I could use the restroom, and now we're gonna go look for our trailer. I think it's up here at the far end of the lot, and I didn't feel like walking the entire lot, go down, use the restroom, so I drove down there, used the restroom. Now we're gonna come back up, look for our trailer. What's this guy doing? He's gonna probably back up to his. So let's see where they stuck ours. I think I see where it's at, but this guy in this blue tractor here is gonna wanna go somewhere. I'm gonna try and get underneath this thing, because there it is. Something tells me she's gonna be a little on the high side. not to hook up to, but I'm gonna struggle with the landing gear because I think somebody dropped it too high. We'll see. Alright, so we're hooked up to the loaded one, and this one's pre-tripped as well, and we're gonna take our 5-minute smoke break down here before we get back in the truck. Since I share a truck and have a night shift partner, I won't smoke in the truck because it's just not right. If I owned my own truck or had my own truck assigned to me, maybe it'd be a different story, but since I share it, I will have a smoke outside the truck before I go anywhere. So we're gonna take a 5-minute break here. We're all good to go. All we gotta do is go out the back gate, stop there, print our bills out, and then head back northbound. I guess I ought to check traffic out on 81 to see if it's gotten any better, or if I have to go in the same way I came out. We might do that and avoid some of that traffic at that bridge construction. All right, we got our paperwork and we're rolling on out of here. It is exactly 3 p.m. So now we've hit the first of the shift changes down here. So I believe that I am just going to make a right turn and go out the longer but easier way. You see all the traffic that's coming into this place, which is not our customer, but it's building behind them, but we share the driveway going out. But yeah, I have a feeling making a left turn up here is going to be a bite, so we're just gonna go to the right and go out that way. And after I commit, I'll probably realize that I could have actually went the other way, that there'll be no traffic out here yet, and I could have went the other way, but you just never know. So I'm just going to take the simpler way. We had enough hassles and frustrations this morning, so we'll just go out this way. All we got to do is yield here, and nothing's coming from the left, and as it were, we would not have had trouble making that left turn out of there. We could have went out the other way, but you don't know for sure. So we'll just go out this way and go from there. It only takes a couple of extra minutes to do it this way than that way. So just saving myself a little bit of aggravation. I'm gonna watch this guy blowing leaves or spraying or whatever he's doing. Looks like he's spraying weeds, not blowing leaves. But yeah, we make our way out, go up 100 and up through Tamaqua again. And traffic probably gonna be a little worse now because of the time of day, but let's see how it goes. All right, so we just got off 81 here. We're waiting at the 924 light. This light heavily favors 924 in the afternoon. Now watch, this light's gonna turn red before I get halfway through it. Yep, there it goes. Only one truck can make that light after 3 p.m. And look at the interstate down there. Look at it slow. Look how slow it is because they're still working on that bridge. So we're gonna go out the other way again after we get this van dropped off and we get back under our tanker. We're gonna go out the way we showed you last time we went out of here. We're not gonna come out 924 here. All these traffic lights. And I may do that all the time when I come up here. If I don't have to go up to the Hazelton well, I may just scoot straight across 924 and go out through the industrial park and get on 81 down there at 424. Might be faster. All right, so we were instructed to put this thing in yard spot 153. Now let's see if we have a 153 open or if we'll have to find another one and rewrite the number. I see 133. I got a feeling there is not going to be a 153 open. Evidently, there must not be a dock open down there. She told me to put it in 153. Well, we just drove by 153. And 171 is open there. I gotta do a flip somewhere. I'm not gonna blindside it in. Now you're gonna go, JB. I'm telling you. That was where I was gonna flip. What did I say? 171. Yeah, we'll do 171. I got more room to work with here, I think. Well, she's gonna be tight. She's gonna be tight. Let's see what we do here. I might have to get out and take a look. I don't know. I'm just surprised I'm not putting it in the dock today. Take a peek here quick. Yeah, we're good. We're not going to get it in one shot, but we're good on the other side. In fact, too good. I actually prefer putting it in the dock. Oh, is she tight? She's tight, tight, tight. Oh, maybe I can do it this way. I don't know. Might have just messed things up worse. Put that other window down. is dropped over there. We're back to being a tanker yanker. Hooked up, I'll walk around, get the tires a kick, make sure they still got air in them, make sure the lights work. Sure they will, but we'll just check it anyway before we roll. And we're gonna head back down and get fuel and go back to the yard, get DEF, and then park it. I guess we'll talk to you more maybe when we park it down there. But today was not a fun day. Right out the gate, not out the gate. It went good until I got to the well and had the load ticket from hell that I tore up and jumped ahead to the next number because I was just not going to use that load ticket with the 666 on it. But I don't know, somewhere along the line it jinxed me because I didn't have a good morning. And then when I got the van and went down to Allentown, things went better until I got back up here. And I'll explain that to you a little more maybe on the ride down or when we get back to the yard or whatever. But we're going to finish up here and get going. I can't wait for today to be done. Hey. All right, going down the hill, and I was going to say, let's see where they got to. It looks like right here. They're working northbound as I showed you this morning. Looks like they finished up for the day, so I guess this is going to be a day project and not a night project or a 24-hour project. So I guess they're done for the day. It's 5:15 p.m. so all right, you know the routine. We're back at the yard. We're parked. We got our fuel. We got our DEF. Finished our paperwork up. All we got to do now is walk around the truck, kick the tires, check the lights, make sure everything is good for her so that she doesn't have any problems on her shift. So we're about to get out of here, go turn the paperwork in, and head home.